Hello there. Today I watched the new animated film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and now I want to tell you about it. If you have been living in a sewer and don't know of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, grab a slice and pull up a chair. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are a group of superhero mutant turtles that use their self-learned version of karate to fight villains in New York. They've got a rat for a dad who's also a martial artist, and they usually have a couple of human sidekicks named April O'Neil and Casey Jones. Mutant Mayhem is another retelling of their origin story with modern jokes, music, and animation. It's got all the major staples of a TMNT story, minus Casey Jones, and a lot of heart. This film has a slightly more adult feel to it than previous films. The turtles still make sarcastic quips but aren't as goofy or childish as previous versions, and they tackle their issues in a more diplomatic manner than before. Evan Goldberg, Jeff Rowe, and Seth Rogen wrote the film. Kyler Spears and Jeff Rowe co-directed it. It stars Jackie Chan as Splinter, Ayo Edebiri as April O'Neil, and Brady Noon, Shimon Brown Jr., Micah Abbey, and Nicholas Cantu as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Leonardo. As a film, Mutant Mayhem is a lighthearted adventure that starts off with how the turtles were made and tells the story of how they became heroes. We meet Splinter, April, and a bunch of nostalgic characters from the franchise and see them interact in fun ways. We get a little bit of characterization from each of the turtles and a little bit from each of the villain sidekicks. The film does feel a little curt at times. We get a basic profile from each of them and then one major personality trait. It's enough to enjoy their presence and root for them, but a little more would have been nice. The villain Superfly is a comical villain with decent motivations. He does get underutilized in the grand scheme, but Ice Cube had a lot of fun with the jokes and made his character feel like a strongman who cracked and lost his way. The story is fairly exciting with lots of high-end action sequences of the turtles fighting other mutants and criminal gangs, running, jumping, and swinging around the rooftops of New York, and having a few good emotional moments. The story is of a fantastical nature, so you do have to give it a bit of leeway in how the world operates, but it's also fairly consistent in following its own rules. It's straightforward and easy to follow. Cast-wise, there are a lot of solid performances in here, but the film splits the screen time a little too evenly for any one person to really stand out. Voice acting for the turtles sees 4 teenagers goofing around and showing off a lot of immaturity. They go through a bit of an emotional journey throughout the film, and the 4 young actors do a solid job of the emotions and the jokes. Ayo Edebiri as April is the sarcastic human friend. She doesn't get to do a lot, but she makes a good impression with the time she had. Ice Cube and Jackie Chan come the closest to standing out, with Chan playing Splinter, father of the turtles, and Cube playing the villain Superfly. Chan as Splinter is more like an old out-of-shape Chinese immigrant father than a kung fu master, but he still has most of the same elements. He's strict with the turtles, but loves them more than anything, and at the end of the day, he wants to do the right thing not only for them, but for everyone. I love the scene of him rescuing them and telling him how he feels. Cube plays a social reject that couldn't handle that rejection and started taking it out on the world. He has a similar origin story to the turtles, and when they initially meet, they start off friendly. He's a bit scary, but also seems like the type of guy to take care of his own. When he ends up going down the wrong pathway, Cube plays him as a man becoming unhinged and turns him into a cartoon villain, shouting funny lines at the people of New York as he smashes buildings and throws cars. Unfortunately, both Splinter and Superfly end up being somewhat stereotypical throughout the film, and Chan and Cube didn't get enough time to make their characters feel truly special. Visually, this film looks like a comic book come to life. Characters and the movement all have a cartoonish feel to them, and we get some truly wacky designs because of it. They also used the medium to create outlandish-looking fights that were fluid and fast-paced at the same time. The journey is easy to follow and contains a lot of fun visual references in the background for the audience to laugh at and enjoy. At the same time, there are a number of standout action sequences that look beautiful. I actually can't wait to rewatch them on YouTube when they finally get released. The one that stood out the most to me was this one montage fight of the turtles taking on some criminal gangs. Each turtle takes the lead at a different location, and they cut together the 4 different fights so that it feels like we're actually just watching one turtle fight. It's a neat moment that shows them fighting together as a team and makes them feel like a well-formed and efficient group. Sound-wise, this film is filled to the brim with popular hip-hop and R&B songs. It definitely gives this film a New York vibe and is highly entertaining at the same time. Music is well chosen to fit in with the story and is mixed perfectly. The soundtrack adds an absolute metric ton of flavor to the film and makes each of the fight scenes feel unique and special. There was also the occasional background instrumental in behind tense or emotional moments. It's always well chosen and amplifies the emotions without distracting from the story. Overall, I enjoyed Mutant Mayhem and would recommend it to others. It does feel like it's missing just one ingredient that would make it perfect, but aside from that, it's a really well done film with a lot of heart in the story. The cast does a good job with their roles, the story is filled with action, comedy, and emotion, music is catchy and fun, and the visuals were beautifully animated. As for a rating, I'd give this film an 8 out of 10, and remember these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Bye bye!